I feel like our videos never show everything behind the scenes, which is kind of why I'm really glad we're doing something like this. When you go up to Canada like that, you're trying to show as many birds on film dying as possible.
You want people to think that you went up there and had a great hunt.
We had a really great hunt, but when we go back and watch the footage, it's like, oh, this is kind of like a kill montage.
Honestly, when we went up there, I didn't expect to shoot that many snow geese. Like in my head, I'm like, we're going to Canada, we're gonna shoot a bunch of ducks. That's like what was in my head, was like, let's go up there and shoot a bunch of ducks. Those guys had a completely different plan, and their plan was to shoot as many snow geese as they could, and we did. Started talking about going to Canada years ago, but we never actually like put the plans in place and actually went. In 2023, Eric was at Game Fair and we had talked whatever, and then Eric hit me up and was like, hey, would you guys be interested in going to Canada? And we'd always talked about it. So immediately I was like, yeah, we would for sure be interested.
Well, and Eric knows what he's doing. So when someone like that invites you, he's been going for 8 to 10 years, it's like, yeah.
This would be a perfect opportunity for us to go up there. To be honest, like me and Joey really didn't know that much about like what the whole plan was going in there. We just knew we're staying at this spot, hunting for these many days, and we're hunting with these dudes. And we just got in the truck and went.
So it was Cal and I, Grant, Tony, and Carter and I. None of us had been to Canada except for Carter. And so when we got to Canada, one of the first things that Grant did, and Grant's a lot younger than us, and the first thing that he does, he starts dancing on the stoop, and I just could not stop laughing. Grant just gets up there and starts dancing like a Gen Z, and I could not handle it anymore. That first day of Canada, we were just getting settled in, brushing in our panel blinds, all of that. First thing we noticed when we got to the field is when Eric opened up his trailer, and we were all like, this is the most organized trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, everything was hanging on a hook. Like when we first saw this dude's trailer, that's when I realized that we were hunting snow geese.
We're all just freaking out about it. And he's like, come on guys, we need to set up decoys. And we're like, okay, how do we set up the decoys? And set up 200 full body snows, a couple of spinners. Out of nowhere, snow geese just start piling in. We're just like, oh my God.
Before we went on this hunt, my experience with snows was terrible.
Yeah, Cal really hated on snows before.
And I still will though. Seeing snows work like that, like seeing them do that, was incredible. The maple leafing, the tricks that they do in the air, like.
Just gets your heart pounding, where they are turning upside down, they're maple leafing, they're whiffling, they are just doing acrobatics in the air, trying to lose as much altitude as fast as possible. And I'm sure you guys have listened to our podcast. If you haven't, go back and listen to our podcast. But we have this person on our podcast called Quabby Kauda, and on the way up to Canada, he was so crabby because he had schoolwork to do. He was tired and he gets motion sickness in the car. But when we got there, he got a burst of confidence like I've never seen. And Carter is a lot bigger than me, and he thought for sure that he could beat me in a race. And I've been athletic my entire life. And so I said, of course we're gonna race. And in Carter's own words, you dusted me.
I love the fact that you said he gained this massive boost of confidence. He did. I have no idea what happened to him.
It came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I thought he was dead on the way up there.
Middle of the night, street lamps, no one else is in town. Oh, come on, 40-yard dash. Now, is it that big of a deal to have beaten Carter in a race? No.
Could probably had a sandwich and outran him. These are the types of shenanigans though that they don't make the video, but they should.
We should have put that in the video.
That was kind of the end of the first day, was Carter getting his ass kicked by everybody. We wake up day 2 and it's perfect duck weather.
Overcast, super windy.
But we get out there and it was like quintessential gentleman shoot. Because of the weather, they weren't just coming in and finishing right on top of us. I mean, they would come in from like 50 yards out, 100 yards out, and just slow crawl because the wind was just chopping them down.
And Eric's a big fan of the cross shoot, so watching these birds belly scrape across the wheat all the way into our decoys from right to left was just, It was so ridiculous. Literally shooting fish out of a barrel. I have no words. Shooting 108 gentlemen shoot. So it's like, hey, you two on the right, take those two. And everything's within 30 feet.
And everyone shot so well. I wish it wouldn't have rained quite as much, maybe. At the end, I was a little wet.
A little wet. Wet with excitement, though.
Well.
So we had 2 mornings of absolute snow goose carnage, and Cal and I were like, man, we came up to Canada to shoot some ducks. Yeah. So we're like, let's go try to get some permission. And so this one person we had talked to before, thinking it was her field, she goes, you know, there's a public spot right across the way from here. There's a lot of ducks that's sitting there.
When we were walking out there, we had no real idea. We had seen birds like trading off water, but we didn't really know if there was a lot of birds in there.
It had just started blizzarding too when we started walking up to the spot. So now I'm really fired up. Get up there and we're about 30 yards from the water, and the water just erupts and a bunch of ducks leave, and we're like, oh no. The ducks didn't really want to work. They were seeing us in the reeds because they were thin pencil reeds. They scratched out like 12 ducks. And then they weren't getting close enough for me, and we saw them all landing over on this peninsula. So I walked all the way over there by myself, just let a couple hundred ducks land. The guys were watching me let all these ducks land.
This guy is not alive because there are ducks in his face.
So I'm just watching all these ducks, just taking it all in, and Cal goes, Joey, you okay? You okay, Joey?
You went for a walk like an hour before that. He might have got hurt.
Cal's yelling, he's like, we're gonna go, we gotta leave. So then I stood up and shot really nice pintail and a different duck, I can't remember.
That turned out to be such a fun hunt.
That hunt was amazing.
Yeah. I think that was the night too we did the podcast. Anytime that you go on a trip, one of the things you always want is that you hope you really have a good vibe with the people you're with.
Well, that was so easy.
We knew Eric and Cody's son, and so we knew it was gonna be fun.
But we had never hunted with them.
You never know how people are, to be honest, unless you're with them for like 3 or 4 days. Because everybody's attitude changes, and if the hunting sucks, that group of dudes, they were a blast.
Hey, out front. 3, coming. Are they on the deck? Guys, through front. Are they on the deck? Where are they at?
Did you know there's 3 out front? And when you have something like that in common, that is just everyone's goal is to be as successful as you can hunting ducks and geese, it's so much easier to get on the same page with a group. The other thing was, it was really easy too, because like you said, Eric is a stud and he had like outline of a plan.
Cody is absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah.
He's so funny, and he's an absolute giant. I think he's like 6'7", and then his dog, Lady Glitter Sparkles. I mean, get out of here, man. That's why you never let your children name your dog. You know, Lady Glitter Sparkles.
That dog will never be forgotten.
No, I'm never gonna forget that dog name. It was super nice because they were such a well-oiled machine. All of them have hunted together for years, and they all know their role. And then they tell you what to do, and you're just like, dude, I got this. Yeah. You know, so it was really fun to work together as a team. So good at BSing, just like the camaraderie in the blind and outside the blind was just top notch. You know what was nuts up there, man? What did we shoot? About a case and a half of shells. Imagine if we didn't have SoundGears in for that many birds. It was like 8 to 10 shooters every day. So every time a big flock of birds comes in, I would be deaf. It was raining quite a bit up there while we were up there. Day 3, get out to the field and we got the trailer stuck.
Well, we got stuck to start the day.
It was kind of a shit show. We had to leave the trailer till after the hunt because we were running out of time. We set up next to a rock pile, just targeted Canada geese. That was fun to watch him work. Eric is greedy, wants them so tight. He's a phenomenal goose caller. He started S2 and then turned it into Born and Raised Call Company. And so Eric definitely knows how to call ducks and geese, but to hear it in the field and watch how those birds react was just like nice. That's what I love about hunting with people that are better than you and hunt from a different area of the country than you, because you can pick up on their calling patterns and then use them when your normal stuff isn't working. And so that was really cool to watch and to learn from.
Seeing the way that guys that are really good lesser goose hunters, the way that they call, the way that they do it, is very different from hunting, you know, big honkers. That was really sweet.
One of the things that really stands out about this Canada trip for me was everyone there was from a media background, and so when you kill a lot of birds, people want to do something special with the pile picks, especially now with social media. And so we found an old limo there in town, and we stacked 145, 143 birds on top of this limo. And then day 2, when we shot over 100 that gentleman shoot, there's an old grain bin in town, and it has 2 large struts going upwards, and then it has vertical and horizontal
cross sections.
And so we lined the birds up like this on the tower, and then we couldn't fit them in the picture, so we put more on the railing.
That was sick.
Those are
The
pictures.
sickest part was when we got to like the top. I think Jack was stacking him. He was like, boys, I don't know. He's like, I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go. I'm like, dude, we'll just put some more down here. Those were sick pile picks. This trip, easiest part of the trip was the group of people we were with and what their intentions were for being there.
It's working. It's really working.
Everybody wanted to have as successful of hunts as we could. Everybody scouted. Nobody slept all day. It was actually a miracle. Every day we came in, we would do the pile pick, we would eat lunch, and then clean birds, and then everybody went and scouted. So whenever you get everybody on the same page, it's gonna be fun.
Overall, the Canada trip was just lights out, perfect, pretty much everything I wanted. And the people we were with, the birds that we shot.
It met my expectations of opportunity. There was a lot more birds there than you see in most places, so it was incredible.
It kind of felt like a foreign land, but at the same time, it still felt like it was homey.
We're from Minnesota, so it felt homey.
Hey,
it
bud.
felt a little more Trailer Park Boys homey.
Hey, bud, you got your toque?
Spicy ketchup chips or regular ketchup chips?
Regular ketchup chips.
Really?
Yeah.
I go spicy.
You know Cal, if there's food there, he's there. So, big chip guy, big seed oil guy.
Actually, you're more of a chip guy than me, I'm pretty sure, but I'd have a second dinner.
Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this like behind the scenes of our Canada video, because we had so much fun making the video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to check out our podcast, it's Midwest Flyways Podcast. We also have a YouTube channel for that, because so we don't mess up the algorithms and stuff. We're actually doing a giveaway for that, so if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, you could be entered to win some stuff. And also, be sure to go follow Born and Raised Outdoors, the Flyway. Not only are they incredible at big game, whitetail, elk, they're literally the monsters in the industry doing that, but they really know how to kill birds too. Usually, not many people can do both.
Don't put me in an elk hunt. Be a bad deal, bud.
Cal starts walking up that mountain, he might sound like an elk. But we don't know how to hunt elk, so.
I can call him. I can call him on accident.